been a lifelong pursuit. As a kid, I loved to draw. Dragons sit on the mantle as being one of the hardest and most complex things to draw at that age. Hi, I'm Yu Xiang and welcome to the Librarian's World, a peek into what makes a librarian tick. Today, we will be looking into the topic of imagining dragons and my quest to draw them all. Growing up in a traditional Chinese household, I have been seeing dragons manifesting in many items around the house, from ornaments to cards and packaging and even on the television screen. And those were the days of the journey to the West. We also had an arowana, dubbed the golden dragonfish in Chinese, in my grandparents' place for most of my childhood, and that was close to what I relate to as a living and breathing dragon. Powerful dragons were also present on the television shows that I have watched as a child. I recall a visit to Haw Villa. The gardens were guarded by a majestic dragon that brought you through the 10 courts of hell, as I have understood much later, and was really 60 meters in length. There were also other iconic spots around Singapore that contained dragons as well. Dragon Playground, designed in the 70s by Mr. Khor In Yi, or the dragon that's made up of porcelain plates and teacups in the old HDB estates such as Whampoa Drive. It was my mother who broke the code for drawing. With a few deft strokes, she showed me how to replicate a dragon from the many images that I see. And soon it became one of the favorite subjects for me to draw and copy. So I will start my research on the dragons that's most familiar to me, the dragons of the Far East.
Music is powerful, and the more you know of and understand, the greater your ability to communicate, connect to something greater, or just feel. Today I'd like to share with you some of my experiences, some resources I turn to, and through these give a glimpse of how much more there is to discover beyond your and my playlist. Hi, I'm Callista, and this is A Librarian's World. I'm a librarian and a practicing musician, meaning I still practice music. Okay, I'm half joking. I perform once in a while, and performing does require serious commitment and practice. Lucky thing, I'm surrounded by lots of resources that a musician may need. When I look at my bookshelf, there are titles like The Little Prince that remind me of a certain innocence in life's journey, or titles like So Good They Can't Ignore You that I turned to when I was at a crossroads in my career. It's the same with music. Think about a song or songs that mean a lot to you. They probably trigger a memory of a significant event or a period in your life where that song was on repeat mode. My life's soundtrack is made up of songs like these. When I felt weary, I would listen to Atlas by Coldplay. When I felt that I needed to break free, I would go to Jamie Cullum's All at Sea. When I felt like sassy, like dancing, I would go to Tokyo Drift from the Fast and Furious soundtrack by Teriyaki Boys. If I felt energetic or needed a perk me up, I would go to Hypercane by DJ Fresh. And if I felt a sense of loss, I would go to Loch Lomond, which is a traditional Scottish song.
Oh, you take the high road and I'll take the...
When I was in love, I would go to Sophia by Narina Pello.
Sapphire, sapphire, I'm burning now, burning out.
Aaron Copland, in his classic What to Listen For in Music, talks about 3 planes of listening: the sensuous, expressive, and sheerly musical.
Another common ideal that is perhaps not taken too seriously today is the idea that somewhere out there, there's someone for you and part of your life's quest will involve uniting with this person. The idea of a soulmate or the one is arguably said to have originated from Plato's The Symposium, which we talked about at the beginning. In one of the speeches written in this book, humans were said to be two beings contained in one before being split by Zeus, who feared their power. In Cecilia Ahern's Where Rainbows End, the concept of soulmates is subtly pushed forward. Over the course of book that is written through notes, letters, emails, and chats, despite the missed timings and opportunities, the reader has no doubt that Rosie and Alex are meant to be. In Julia Quinn's An Offer from a Gentleman, that features Benedict Bridgerton, the second eldest Bridgerton sibling, she writes, he thought it remarkable to have found two, when in his heart he'd always believed there was only one perfect woman out there for him. His heart had been right, there was only one. And again, we see the idea of the soulmate being pushed forward. In recent novels, however, this ideal has been explored and questioned. Taylor Jenkins, who has recently become one of my favorite romance authors, explores the idea of soulmates in her book, One True Love and Maybe in Another Life. In One True Love, Emma marries her high school sweetheart Jessie, who goes missing on their one-year wedding anniversary. She grieves him, but over the years gets her life back together and falls in love again with Sam. However, when Jessie is suddenly found alive, Emma tries to figure out who she's really meant to be with. As you read the book, you realize that someone who you thought was your soulmate may not make you happy years later because people change with time. In her other book, Maybe in Another Life, two alternate realities runs its course based on two possible choices the lead protagonist Hannah makes at the start of the book. In this book, Taylor Jenkins pushes forward the idea that whoever you choose, that's the person who becomes your soulmate, and weaves the idea of control and agency in the soulmate concept. What does science say? In Randall Munro's What If? Serious Scientific Answers to Absurd Hypothetical Questions, he concludes that if everyone had one soulmate, the probability of finding that one person is incredibly low. Hence, from a mathematical perspective, there might be no one definite soulmate for you. So in conclusion, by dissecting three of the most common ideals in romantic love with the help of books and a little bit of history, we can see that what we think of as fixed romantic rules are really a reflection of the social conventions of our time, and that the ideas of romantic love itself is very fluid and ever-changing. And so, if you've been fantasizing about the perfect relationship, the truth is that perhaps there really is no perfect relationship. So go on and make your own rules for love.